what I'm going to do today. I'm gonna drive the whole route. I'm going to commentate on what I'm doing. I'm going to try and tell you what I'm doing when I'm doing it. I'm going to keep you informed as to what road I'm on as best as I can. Remember that this is a brand new, well, I say brand new, it's since the changes come in, but it's still all the same roads as before. There's going to be many different driving test routes, but this is just one of them that I'm going to show you today. And go back to the purpose of why I'm doing this video. The very purpose is just to make you aware. It isn't to almost, what's the word, to scam the test, if you like, because that's the last thing that I want to do. I want good drivers on the road in Derby. I want people passing the test that deserve to pass and are ready to pass and are going to be driving around on the streets locally, keeping things safe. Okay, so it's not like, for example, if I was doing some work for, I don't know, university, college or whatever, this is just an example, and I copied and pasted a load of stuff, well, I could possibly pass that off as my own. However, with this driving, it's not the same. It's a developing thing that changes all the time. Conditions may differ, other things may differ, so it is just to give you an idea as to what to expect, what you might do to deal with it, and hopefully by doing this to help you to gain a little bit more of an understanding as to how and why we're doing these things. Okay, this video is going to be put into the driving test, Derby driving test tips and advice playlist. So I mean, if there's anything else you want me to go over, guys, or if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments below and I'll do my best to address those. So here goes. Test here, right from the test centre on this particular route, and the destination is left at this junction. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So this is Belmore Way. I don't need to show you the exact test centre. If you did want to get it up, you can get it up on Google Maps. So it's the Derby Driving Test Centre, Belmore Way, Elverston. So we're turning left for the ring road towards, basically towards, back onto Rainsway, up towards Spondon, Chaddesden and Borrowash. Checking my mirrors for the new road. Solid white lines on the floor, so I'm not going to cross that. Get my signal on to alert others sooner. Hopefully they'll spot me that bit earlier. Last couple of checks, sideways glance, back to the road ahead, keep the signal on till I've completed the manoeuvre. Speed limit's 50, centre of the lane, yes, and the van behind me, but it's some distance away. So on this particular road, the sat-nav round about here near this speed camera on the right said to keep right, okay, because we are positioning. So it's not like you're just driving in the right hand lane without any real purpose, you are positioning. So I'm going to do a quick lane change, mirror signal, sideways glance, keep signal on. Now I've completed manoeuvre, cancel. At about here the sat nav repeated itself and it said keep right. As you can see there from the green sign, the road's going to split off in different directions depending on where you want to go. About here, the examiner reminded my pupil to keep right, to get into the right-hand lane. And because he had to be reminded, he picked up a serious fault. He picked up a fault for planning and awareness. The sat-nav then said to follow the road ahead. The road ahead is the right-hand lane on this particular road, and if you was new to the road, you'll start to see arrows on the floor. Can you see them there? There's a red Fiesta going to pass me, and I'm going to pop my signal on when it's on the side of me, and I'm going to do the lane change. Now usually I would go straight into the right-hand lane there because I've got local knowledge and I know that I want the right-hand lane to go ahead, but I'm trying to probably do worst case scenario for you guys, I guess, because you know it. I mean, you've probably been taught left-hand lane for normal driving, which is great, but of course then when you build on your experience, the local knowledge comes in and then you sort of apply a bit of common sense to that as well. So here then guys, right-hand lane becomes the middle, so it's almost sort of spiralling across already. So I'm behind the red Fiesta and then the middle lane becomes the left. So don't do what the Fiesta did, basically. Really bad example. Making sure nobody's cutting me up in the left-hand lane. They're not. Mirror signal to exit. 40 mile an hour on this road. Acorn Way, then we're just coming on to. The direction, of course, would have been ahead, second, or I think it just says ahead. You need to be looking at the sat nav as well, so that you can, you know, you might need to read what number exit it is you're taking. So it's a case of just following this road ahead. Got a bit of snow coming down, but I think we'll be okay. I don't think it's going to come down too heavy just yet. 40 mile an hour till we get to the national speed limit signs there. I'm aware I went 42 when I come onto the road. In case anybody decides to comment, I am aware of it. Just trying to stay focused with everything I need to let you guys know, and also drive as well at the same time. So yeah, this is Acorn Way. It's, as you saw, we went past the national sign, so it's 60 because it's a single carriageway. Nothing to do with the lanes. See my video for that. For how to identify a single or dual carriageway. Wipers on this car on the right hand side. So up for faster, down for slower, and off. Just as we pulled out of the test centre, before I actually started this video as well, my pupil had already been asked to demonstrate showing the, to put on the rear wipers. So he'd already done that. I've sat in on 2 of these newer tests so far. Of course, I've not got the sat nav on today. In case you were wondering as well, I said I recorded the actual test, but there's no, it was in minute segments. So I weren't prepared to sit there and put all those minutes together. It was just going to take me so long, so it's easy for me to just get on the road and do this. The next direction on the sat nav was ahead, second exit, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. And what did I say about the snow? It seems to be coming down a little bit more heavily than expected. The next direction was left at the roundabout. Mirrors for new road. I'm about to ease off the gas. There could be things that could cause me to brake around this corner. Can't really see. I'm going to position a little bit further left for an extra view around the right corner as well, looking in and around this pillar. They're quite thick, aren't they, these days, these pillars? It's for better safety in the event of a crash, more rigidity, less chance of the car crumpling. So next direction was turning right. So centre right, mirror signal right, position right, gear, clutch up, third exit, so 1, 2, 3, and away we go, left on, Astra knows what he's doing, and then it was pull up on the left at a safe place. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Sat nav was still on at this point, but the examiner just overrided the sat nav, you know, by just speaking. So there we go. Now what my pupil did, he only got 2 faults on the whole test, but what he did do is he pulled up opposite that junction. So in case you're unsure of rules for junctions, we shouldn't park opposite a junction or within 10 metres of one. And it's all to do with, if I park opposite there, I'm going to put people in the wrong side. I'm going to put people in the wrong side of the road before they turn, or if somebody turns out, they're going to have to turn out onto the wrong side of the road. If I park within 10 metres on that side, then I'm going to obscure people's view. Now, The driving, as far as I'm aware, the test now is parking forwards in a bay in the Springwood Leisure Centre. So I would, at this point in time, I would presume that the examiner would ask you now to turn right into the car park and pull forward into a bay and secure the car once they've done, and then I guess they're going to be asked to reverse out. The reason why I say I guess is because my pupil did the reverse park in the test centre, so I think they'll be doing the reverse park at test centre because that's a bit quicker and it makes sense to do it that way around. So let's have a look now, guys, at pulling in here and driving forwards into a bay. Now when we go into car parks, remember, we're going to be looking out for those one-way systems. We've got a bit of a rollback here, sorry, a potential for a rollback, so make sure you've got your bite and that moving off on the incline and enough power. So we've got the arrows there leading you to the left, and obviously would be against traffic that way, and then the arrows suggest to go all the way up and not around, although I think you can go around as well. So if you're going to pull forward into a bay, for me these are all crooked and a bit awkward. Got the arrow for the one way there as well, so for me pulling in in this situation, pulling in on the left would seem most natural, or on the right even. So it's a one-way road, so it isn't like you've got to be on a particular side of the road here because of the one-way system. So let's pull him on the right. So what I'd do, I'd slow down, just make sure nothing behind me, you know, before I move, because when you slow down on car park, sometimes boom, car comes past. So let's have a look. You want at least a car's width when you're going to pull forward into a bay. You know, a car's width between this side of the car and the end of those bays, so you've got a bit of a turning circle. I've done a video on this bay park with one of my learners, Chris, so if you want to check that out, it's in my manoeuvres section on my YouTube channel. So basically, when one of these lines comes level with my headrest, I'm going to full right lock. Okay, so check all around, and there we go. Lock on. Now the front tyre will go over slightly, that has to happen, guys. And just as I'm coming in, clutches down, feathering the foot brake, feeding the wheel off, and then as a reference, I know a lamppost there, so that could make me a bit nervous, but it doesn't, because I'm going to wait till the curb is underneath the door mirror. That means my bonnet's level with the curb, but not over. That's perfect there. Handbrake, neutral, job done. I reset the mileage at the beginning of this mock as well, so we can see how many miles the test is. Anyway, at this point in time, just secure the car. I don't need to check the sides because I know where I am, but I put it into reverse. We've got the slope of the car park. All car parks have slopes. It's for the drainage, and that's why all the drains are down on this side, because the water will run down. But what it means for you guys is you've got to make sure you got your bite when you reverse back, or else we could roll into the curb or lamppost in this situation. There's a car coming around, so be looking around at things that could develop before you actually start checking. Got the bite there. When you've got a bite for reverse, if it's a front wheel drive car, the front end will lift down, or tuck downwards rather than lift upwards. When when I moved up on the hill, the front tugged up a little bit. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. So let's have a look. So I'm keeping the steering wheel straight, looking in the direction of travel when I'm reversing backwards. Still clear, nothing reversing out there. There's a park behind me, so I'm just conscious of that. Don't want to steer too early, because if there were a car behind me, I would steer into it. So about halfway past the bays now, so check all around, full right lock, clear all around. Now I don't want to go in the bays behind me, so I'm going to stop about there. Just squirrels on the brake, first to first. I don't need to put the handbrake on, because when I let go of the brake, I think somebody asked this question the other week, I'm just going to roll anyway. So before I let go of that squeeze on the brake, check all around. And then I just let go and I roll the way I'm going anyway. So that makes sense to me anyway. So here, so much danger in these car parks. I did a mock test with somebody the other day and we come through here and there was no checks. Now that's so, I mean, it's so dangerous. There's no junction here, but we've got to create our own junctions in these in these situations. We've got to treat it like one, so we've got to pause. It's a bit clearer today because there's not as many cars. But you know, sometimes you come around, all you can see is the cars. You can't see if there's anything coming. So again, I haven't got a giveaway here. Looks, I can already see right and left. It's obvious. But I tell you what, if you come around and there's cars everywhere, you need to be pausing and considering stopping at those. Well, I'll call them giveaway points because they are. They're junctions. Footpath there, so be careful. If you can't see, slow down. Again, look before the cars and look through the gaps there. At this point in time, it would be a right turn usually from the one that I sat in on. In terms of that reference again, if you can see the white line underneath the mirror there, it means that the bonnet isn't over hanging out into the road, but you're as close as you can be to the new road, maximising your visibility sometimes. So just relating those two things there. Right, left, we're all good, and away we go. So we've got some traffic calmers in front, saying that we've got priority, so I'll just check my mirrors for the new road. It is safe to speed up. So we haven't got priority in front. I'm going to check my mirrors for changing direction. Nothing coming anyway. And again, I'm going to check my mirrors centre and left for changing direction again. 27, it's a 30 road. I pop into 4th. Now on the driving test, there was a car parked on the left and my pupil was asked to pull up. And we did the angle start, so if there's another car down here, hopefully there is, I can demonstrate that. But it was about here, on the left. Got a car that's travelling quite close behind me. Just checking my mirror there in case the bus starts to pull across the road. And I'm pulling behind the silver car, so I'm going to signal as early as I can for this black car behind me. And you'll be asked to pull up at about a car's length behind the car in front. So we do what's called the angle start. Now I look like I'm a bit sticking out in the road. It's only because that top car in front, the tyres are actually touching the curb, which you don't need to do on your driving test. Don't even attempt to do it, because if you do, you'll probably smash all the wheels up. Cancel the signal when you complete the manoeuvres, guys. It's so many people, they leave them flashing, they do the checks, and they drive off with the left signal still flashing. So make sure, handbrake, neutral, cancel, signal. So you're working your way back to the steering wheel. 1, 2, 3, done. All right. If you get asked to pull up and there's a driveway, the examiner will usually say, particularly for certain exercises, to ignore the driveways for the purposes of the exercise. So I can see there's a learner car down the road there. I am going to put a signal on before I move so they know what I'm about to do. Oh, I'm not, because there's a white car coming behind. I'm not going to move anyway, so I don't want to confuse the white car. Right, the white car's turning now. Now there's another 4x4 coming, so I'm not going to signal. And what I'm not going to do is sit here with the signal flashing, because well, that's a video in itself, that one, so I'm not going to go into that in too much depth. So signal on. I believe it to be clear. I'm going to double treble check by doing the full all around obs. So the angle start is this: it's getting around the car, having another check, and then coming back in, checking my centre and left mirror there to come back in after the second parked car. So coming past the next car, centre and right mirror, move out early, give it good clearance, centre and left, probably move back in a bit sharper than I would usually because of the bend, though you can see across if you look. Keeping a little bit further left to have an early view around that black fence there, and etc., the conifers. Still, sat nav is still running at this point, guys. So I'm going to turn left at the roundabout. That was, you know, again, the direction given. Centre right mirror for the new road. We're good to speed up. It's clear ahead too. The next direction given was left at the roundabout. So centre left mirror, signal left, off the gas, cover brake clutch, start to brake. I'm going to go third clutch up, keep with the curb because it's a left turn. Reconfirm signal, peel away with the curb, get on the gas, mirrors for new road. 40-mile-an-hour limit. Not till I get to the sign though. Easy tiger, and away we go. So it was following the road ahead at this point. Checking my mirror there, because I'm just easing off the bend. Even a little bit further left. Mirrors again. Because if that one hadn't stopped, I'd have been slamming on, for example. So I'm anticipating that sort of thing. Around about here, the sat-nav starts warning me of the next right turn that it'd like me to take. Just see the gap in, after the black parked car, just the gap in the grass bank there. So I'm going to check my mirrors, signal right, position slightly. It's not a dead wide road though. Second gear, clutch up there, well before I turn, pointer turn there, done. Obviously have a look at the road before you turn. Mirrors for new road. And let's get up to speed. Nice long straight here, just easing off because you've got the car coming. Can be a little bit uneven, these roads. And I can see the bend coming up. So again, I'm in my mirrors, nothing behind me. Not a dead wide road, so let's hope there's no tractors coming. I'm just covering the brake and clutch, to be honest, at this point. And my right foot's just going back over to that gas because I can see the view's opened up ahead again. Basically, if I can't see, I want to be ready for the unknown. We've got the warnings of the bends, cattle could be around if somebody's left the gate open. Keep it a bit further left than usual. You can have an early view around the bend. Back on the gas a bit there, 6th gear, 60 road, this one. So we've got the chevron arrows up ahead and the warning triangle. So in the mirrors, nothing behind. I'm not going to check the door mirror here because it's not really steering or anything yet. Brake, 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 brake. I'm in 6th to 3rd. Clutch up well before the bend. I'm not going to position right because that could be dangerous. It's different to positioning left because you'll be closer to oncoming traffic. And if that cuts the corner, which most people do because they're in the wrong gears, too fast, then we're in trouble. It's double bubble, double trouble. So we've got warnings of other bends. We've got slow written on the road. You could remember slow as speed, low, observe, warning. There's usually always a warning triangle near where it says slow, most of the time. Just giving a bit of a wider one in case she stepped off. And doing 36, it's a national road. There's a few entrances ahead I'm going to be aware of. Nothing overtaking, so spedal. Just off the gas there, right foot sort of in a position where you could brake or go on the gas, basically. Back on me. Okay, we've got a cyclist in front then, so I'm going to check my mirrors early, centre and right. I'm just going to build the brake gently. 5th to 4th. Position out. Give him loads, why not? Wrong gear. And then back in the mirrors and gently just easing into the 30. 4th gear, clutch up, 34, 32, 30 as we come through the 30. Mirrors. Back on the gas. Didn't want to go back on the gas too early till I could see over that hump. And the sat-nav now asked me to take the next road on the left. So I'm going to check my centre and left mirror. Off the gas, covering brake, clutch. Now start braking. Brake, brake, brake. 4 to 2, clutch up. Curb peels now, so steer. About 35-minute steer. Right hand to take off. Did a video on steering the other day if you want to catch up with that. Push-pull method and whether it's necessary, etc. You'll see that on my recent uploads on my channel. Candidate was asked to pull in on the left, so I'm going to do the same. I'm going to pull up just here. There we go, avoiding the driveways. What a lot of people don't do when they pull up on the tests is they don't sort of look over the shoulder, you know, because you can sort of see where the driveways are and things. Also, I look at the fences and I look at, so you see, I don't know if you can see left there, there's 3 brown fences. That's much longer than a car. So if that's much longer than a car, we know that the gaps between each driveway, you can easily fit a car, because sometimes the lowered curbs aren't as long as the fence, but if the fence is there, then you're not blocking anybody in. You know, all you're doing is access. You know, people say, oh, lowered curb, you shouldn't park there. But it's just access, that's all. So yeah, so we're going to drive on. Again, another incline on this one, so I'm going to make sure the front just tugs slightly. I know I've got the bike point there. What that tug is the front tyres moving forwards, tiny amount. The only reason they haven't kept moving is because the handbrake's on, locking the back wheels in place. But anyway, guys, let's have a look. In case you're wondering why the engine was off, that's the Eco Start. And I think that thing is absolutely ridiculous in itself, the Eco technology stuff. Again, video for another day. I'm not going to sit here with the signal flashing. Why would I? I'm not going to move off yet. So why do these people need to know? They don't. I'm going to prepare. There's a little tug on the front, look. Checking all around. That one could do with benefiting. Look, that silver one. So I am going to signal, because that's a useful signal. Because I'm going past this silver. Just pinching a bit of each side of the road. All safe and that. But, you know, you really want to... Okay, so I think the learners give way there, or if it's parked, I'm not sure. So I'm just going to check my left mirror, come in slightly. Don't know if it's parked, or I think it was parked. So I didn't see it moving before the van was doing that. I'm going to check my mirror centre right. And I'm going to give a signal, because I guess they are parked. Mirrors to come back in. So the sat-nav finished there, guys, so it was directions from here. Centre and left mirror. I expect to see that cyclist again at some point as well. I'm aware that I overtook him, and then he overtook me again when I was talking to you. Of course, I'm aware that I went in the wrong gear. I think I went third instead of fifth earlier, purely because I'm trying to think about what I'm saying and show you the driving at the same time and everything like that. So we all make mistakes, I guess. So I'm just using first gear tick over here. That way I don't have to stop. Check my mirrors. I'm going to signal right. It's just because there's a white car coming up quickly behind me, and I was tucked left, so it is still safe. Centre and left to come back in, keeping a bit, especially left. It's a right bend, and I want to see early. I want to see half a second earlier what's coming up. Is there any blockages? Anybody in the road? Anybody crossing? Any vulnerable people in the road? That sort of thing. So we've got the warning triangle here. It says give way in 100 yards. When we do get to the give way, I'm going to turn right there. So now this is the, I guess, the way back. Everything here is on the way back from here, from this point on. In that sky today, guys, it's like a zebra effect. And so we're just going to come through Spondon Village now, and we've got a couple of mini roundabouts, keeping a good, and if I get to give you any top tips or tests, keep your distance from the car in front or the vehicle in front. Sometimes I'm sat in the back and I'm thinking, you know, you're just accelerating and you're getting closer and closer. Why are you doing that? Of course, if they knew, they wouldn't be doing it, but it's probably, you know, the test and stuff, but just don't let yourself. So I'm just going to brake. I'm not going to follow those till I've had a look for myself and my mirrors there. Be careful not to become a carriage. What I mean by a carriage is you know, like basically you're just mimicking what the car in front does. So that Ford in front, there's a learner car, but that Ford, literally, what the learner car does, the Ford will do, because it's that close, can you see? So it was left at the mini roundabout here, it's quite closed and quite small, so I'm going to go in first earlier so I don't stop. But do make sure, if you're just normal driving here, make sure you get the clutch up early, you're in second, and you're covering the brake and clutch ready to stop, but also ready to go. And if these aren't, okay, so those cars there are blockers. And the light's going to change, check my mirrors just in case, yes. And I was already covering the brake. I saw her press the button and I was anticipating what was happening next. If you go through an amber, you need to be able to justify it, guys, so that it's flashing amber there so I can go if it's safe, and it is because she's crossed and there's nobody else stepping on. And left at the next mini roundabout. Again, slowing earlier, cars a good distance behind. I'm going to go first then, off brake, clutch up. Gently and off the clutch. It means I don't stop. Clear. Last look. Yeah, good. Clear with the curve. You see, my right hand's always positioned in a certain place so that it can keep steering while the left hand does what it does with the gears. So that's the art in changing gear while you're cornering. Again, keeping especially left on this. Just second gear still down that hill, engine braking. Getting a little bit closer than I want, so I'm a bit on the brakes there. And I think all this backlog is just from, we've got that learner car and they might be quite early on in their journey, perhaps. So I've got the lights at the end, the direction was to turn right. So I expect these lights to change, then kids could step out. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there's always one with some sense, isn't there? I was always that kid with a bit more sense than the others, like that lad in the white top there who didn't step off just because his divvy mates did. Okay, so we're going to go ahead at the next two roundabouts. That's the direction now. Best practice here, guys, use the right hand lane. Check your mirrors first, of course, because if you use the right hand lane second exit, you've got to keep tight though. Most people, they end up steering and ended up in that left hand lane over there. See how tight I've kept there to that right. Now what that does is, because the next destination is ahead, you're already in the correct lane for the ring road, and the examiner will say turn right, third exit, and follow floor markings for the ring road. Okay, so mirrors and signal. Second gear, clutches. Okay, first gear, clutch down, pause on the lines, got time there. So ring road, yeah? Can you see that on the floor? Keep that signal on so that car knows if he wants to turn left down for 52, he can, she can. And ring road on the floor, so keep right. Mirror signal, I think that's the earliest point you could signal on this one. Keep in centre of my lane. If you watch people on this, they're all over the place. And ring road up on the floor and up in the air there. Cancel signal, keep in the middle of this lane. Most people are all over the place, in the left, in the right. Be aware of other cars being in your lane as well when they're oncoming, particularly buses. Nothing undercutting me. These aren't going to cross, they're not in a position to yet. And that was the point, past the point of no return there on the amber, so there was no way I was going to stop. The car behind would end up in the back, so that was justifiable going through on the amber. Car behind's quite a reasonable distance, quite a close distance to me, and the bus is pulling out. It would be unreasonable for me to put my foot down there, but if I was the blue car in front of the taxi or the car in front of that, I wouldn't have been stopping for the bus, even though he just slaps his signal on or her signal on regardless, you know. So everything's got to be justifiable, and you've got to be pre-thought of before it takes place, really, to get the best result. Them crossing that, not the crossings I've just this second gone through, but the ones before at Asda, I sort of eased off as I approached, and I'm thinking about whether the pedestrians could cross. So, you know, you've always got to give it a chance and think, well, I might have to do this or I might have to do that. I'm just going to keep a bit of a distance from the bus. I don't expect it to go. I think it looks like there could be a car or two in front. There is, I can see now. The direction here was left, first exit. I'm using clutch control here and tick over. I'm using my clutch as my brake almost. After the red car, I reckon the silver car will go, and it is. And after the blue car, I'm going to go, I think. Yeah, there we go. turn left there, and then they actually change lanes one to the right. Like they change lanes and there's nothing there. Why they could just do what I've just done, drive in the left, because left's for normal driving, and then just filter them and just merge at the end. So I'm going to change lanes one to the left when it is safe. You want to be thinking about doing that earlier rather than later down here, and at the moment it's 40 everywhere around here, it's usually 50, so I'm just bearing that in mind. Just I'm keeping fifth because we're at 40. I'm going to set the cruise control in fact, because that makes life very easy in terms of keeping at the right speed. I pop my feet on the floor now, there's no hazards going off around me, there's barriers at the side on the right, there's no pedestrians that can see clearly on the right, so if I did anticipate danger, my feet would be hovering, covering the brake, covering the clutch. You know, when I use cruise control. You should use cruise control on tests if you can. You should be training and learning how to use it. As we go forward, older cars will all have cruise control, speed limiter, all that sort of thing. So if you read the DT1 and everything, I put the DT1 in the description on my video I made the other day on steering. Basically, it's the guidance notes for driving test examiners. You know, they're happy for you to use those sort of things. So I signalled there at the 300-yard marker, coming off of Ring Road West. Of course, you'll be notified in good time about that. The next direction is cancel the signal now, and I've completed that manoeuvre. So I'm going to check my mirror now, and I press this button. That's the same as me coming off the gas. Deactivated the cruise control. Now I'm going to cover the brake, and now I'm going to cover the clutch. Check the mirror again, I'm going to start to brake. I'm in fifth, brake, brake, brake. Fifth to second because it's busy. I might go third some days. Clutch down first then because there's a car coming. Hopefully I'm not going to stop off the brakes there. Gas on, so I didn't stop again. Mirrors, signal, second exit. Keeping next to this curb here, most people stray. As you can see, the lines are very faint in the middle and they sort of lose perception as to where they are in the road. 30 mile an hour all around here. This is the last stretch before we get to test centre. I'm going to change lanes, so I'm going to check the mirrors, signal right, sideways glance, keep the signal on until I've completed the manoeuvre and I'm square middle of my lane there. Another mirror check and a left, see if anybody's going to cut me up. I'm going to turn right here for the test centre. Mirrors, signal. If you don't signal, you'll probably fail here because something could cut you up in the right hand lane and go through there. Middle lane to turn right, look. As you can see, we're staying in this middle. Check nothing's cutting me up. Now the middle becomes the left. Mirrors, signal, lights are on green. Now when that sun's low like that, even I, for a split second then, had a bit of trouble just catching that catching the lights are on a grill. They've got like a grill, and it's to slow traffic down really, so they don't go whizzing around the roundabout. But yeah, so I sincerely hope that helped, guys, with that. It's one of the brand new test routes on the driving test. First half was sat nav, Springwood parking. Second half was directions back.